Hello, everybody, and welcome to this video. The first one I'm going to post this new year in 2025. Those of you from the future just watched this and said, wow, this video is so freaking old. I have a bunch of other videos like talking about like things to do for the new year and stuff like that, and some of them that I was recording a couple days before New Year's, but then like everything just got away from me, and there are some big life changes happening with me right now. Yeah, so I didn't post any videos on New Year's Day. Those of you may have remembered that about, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe a couple weeks ago, I did a video on having a healthy fear in your art. Now, first off, I think I worded all of that wrong, and that's not what we should be looking forward to, because we should never ever have fear in what we do. Okay, the whole reason why we make art is to escape fears that we have. You know what I'm saying? That was probably just bad explaining or whatever. But what I've been thinking about is one of the things I want to do this year that I don't think I've really been doing. Maybe I have, I don't know, but I haven't consciously been doing it, so I think that's the issue. What I want to do is not rest on my laurels, obviously, but in everything I do, I want to push myself a little farther. So I don't want to feel nervous. I don't want to feel necessarily uncomfortable, because the second we start feeling like that, like our primitive instincts are going to kick in and make us not want to like be a part of those feelings, so we will stop creating. Okay, but I want to push myself a little further each time. I don't feel like I've necessarily been resting on my laurels, but I feel like I'm not going that extra distance. So I'm going to try to give you guys some examples right now. One of the poems of mine that I get asked to read more than others is a poem that is really emotional for me. And if you remember, I don't know how long ago it was now, maybe like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago or something like that, I did a live stream where I was doing a poetry reading, and somebody asked me to read a certain poem because they really liked that poem. I read it and I started crying. Okay. What I'm getting at is, like, there are going to be things that you write, songs you make, drawings you make, whatever. Like, there will be things you create that will have a special significance to you, but not really to anybody else. Then there's going to be things that you create that like a couple people are really going to dig, and you don't really get it. You were just like, well, I mean, I made that thing, it's fine, but like I don't really see like what's happening. There are going to be the things that you make that mean a lot to you, and you have like physical emotional reactions to, and then the person consuming your art also has those reactions. That, where those things meet, that is, I mean, that is the beauty. That is like the money shot. I don't know how else to describe it. It's kind of like one of those things where you can like something, but liking something doesn't make you like go out of your way to get it. Loving something makes you go out of your way to get it. Okay, so what I would ask you guys is any of the things you have created. Okay, let's be totally like objective here. Okay, using this scale of completely subjective. Okay, so hear me out. What things have you created that kind of sound like this similar thing, where it means a lot to you and you've seen it mean a lot to other people. Okay? Not because I know you guys probably have something where a poem meant or something you made meant a lot to you and nobody fucking cares. Okay? That sucks. I feel that too. It's a hard feeling. But when you have the you like it and they like it, they love it and you love it, that whole thing, now that you have that thing, I want you to think about what that thing is about that you made. Because back to my example, and this isn't the only one, but this is just the first one that came to my mind. Whenever I have something like this, where it means a lot to me, it means a lot to them, it's usually when I did something and almost the whole time I was making it, I was like, ooh, gosh, I might be giving a little too much here. I might be putting a little too much out there. I might be, you know, you feel like you went too far. You know, like you feel like, should I have stopped a couple minutes ago? Like you feel like maybe this is too much. Okay. That is the dragon I want to chase right now. And this is what I want you guys to chase right now too. Look at all the stuff you've done. And I'm going to say this for you guys. I don't feel this for me, but I think this is how a lot of you guys are going to take this. The art that you make that you feel is safe, don't think about that right now. Put that off to the side, put it in a drawer, do whatever you want with it. Just like put it away right now. The stuff that you create that you're kind of worried about, that you're kind of like nervous about, that you're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want people to actually look at this. Lean into that. Like that unease, I think, is the magic that we're feeling. That is the tingle that we're uncertain of. But I think that's where the majority of our voice and our style come from. You know what I'm saying? I think we assume a lot. Like and this goes back to our delusions of grandeur of ourselves. When we make something that we think is a little too, like we're sharing too much and it's a little too on the nose, you know, and it's a little too cringy, as some people call this kind of stuff. We think that because we assume that the viewer knows all about our life, so they'll be able to connect these dots. They don't know. They don't know you. They don't know me. They don't know what we're talking about. A lot of the time when people like consume your art, they're consuming it through their lens because people are selfish by nature. So like whenever you show them something, they internalize it. A lot of times when like somebody listens to a song by somebody, it doesn't matter who it is, unless they're just like playing the video they saw for it in their head, most of the time when people hear a song, like a love song or whatever, they like put themselves into the scenario that they're hearing the lyrics play out. You know, I'm not saying everybody does this all the time, but the majority of people do this. You know, people like certain movies, certain music, certain books, certain things because they feel like they can relate to it, even if it's a fantastical thing. It's like how they are a part of that. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times the reason why we feel drawn to certain artists is because we feel like we relate to them. How many times have you like really dug like some author or some musician and you're just like, oh my gosh, this person like totally understands me. Like if we were ever able to like hang out one day, we would totally get along and be besties. and get like matching tattoos on our feet. You know what I'm saying? That's because the reason why you like that artist is because you feel a kinship, you feel connected. You know what I'm saying? So, with that said, when you feel like you're creating something that's a little too close to home, it probably is, but that's okay because that means the person who's going to like that piece is going to feel super connected to it because of how vulnerable it is. Does this make sense? Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down here? You know what I'm saying? So basically what I'm saying is that 2025 for me, there are a lot of things that are changing in my life, which is fine and great. Like we should always be onward and upward, you know what I'm saying? But there are certain words that like keep coming up. When I was journaling, there's going to be a video coming up here soon where the last beach day the last beach day of 2024. I was going to go to the beach today, but I probably won't do it. I was journaling about what my like hopes and dreams and visions for 2025 were going to be. As I'm writing it, I'm like speaking out loud and stuff. Okay. I'm like saying what I'm writing and like doing the whole thing. And a word that kept coming up as I was writing was transcend, transcendence, transcending. What was weird about that for me is that that's not a word I use like in my everyday vernacular. You know what I'm saying? And it came up. And since then, and I mean, this is like what, like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, I've been really replaying that word a lot in my head and what it means to me. That's really big. The other thing that I don't know if it's because of that word, but pushing myself artistically. I want you guys to know I'm not quitting poetry. Like I'm not going to stop writing poetry for F's sake. I still write poetry. I still love poetry. But and like a lot of you will roll your eyes at this, I'm sure. But I feel like I've mastered poetry. Okay? Like, just like I mastered filmmaking, just like I mastered like serial writing and production, just like I mastered songwriting and like music production. And again, a lot of you were like, you fool, you know? But it's like when you find your own style, you go for it and you do it. And then you might notice that you're not doing the same thing over and over again, but you've done everything that you can do in that bubble. Okay? So like for me with poetry, I simplified, reduced, figured out things for me, like in my style. What does a period mean? What does a comma mean? What does a line break mean? How long should my lines be? Like just all of this stuff. I figured all of these things out and then wrote a ridiculous amount of poetry. And if you follow my poetry from beginning to now, you will see the changes that I made. And I was talking to someone the other day who had read one of my books, and they were like, they had read Winter, and they were pointing out like different things in Winter, and I couldn't even believe that they were picking up on that. Like almost like a thing where like they could tell which poem was written first based on how I used capitalization in a poem and stuff like that. And I'm like, whoa, you're pointing stuff out. That's weird. I don't know how I feel about that. So just little things like that. But the Matt Wall style of a poem is done. It exists. Like I already know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still writing. I'm still doing all that stuff. But with painting right now, like I'm kind of able to like discover things more and dig around a little bit more than I would be with the other things that I've done and do. Even like the way I write songs and like the chords that I made up on guitar that aren't real chords, and like my picking style, like all of that stuff is like different crap that I do. You know what I'm saying? And then I felt like I did everything I can do with that at any given time. And every once in a while, I'll go back and I'll write a new song using this way I write songs and the chords that I use. So it's not like I'm done. And one of the great things about being as prolific as I am is that even if I am done, let's say, I still have so much unreleased stuff that I could be putting stuff out forever. So it doesn't really matter. You know, like I could be putting stuff out, and for you, you might think, oh, look at this brand new thing. And for me, I'm like, I wrote that like 15 years ago. But, you know, whatever, it's fine. There are a lot of process things that I do that I feel like I want to push farther. It's not that I feel like music and video and film and like novels and poetry, because I'm still working on my novel. I'm still working on the craft book. I'm still doing all of these things. But the thing that's like making me whistle right now, if you will, is pushing the paintings and like pushing to see how far I could go inside the medium and like see what I could like do. And I don't feel like I have found my exact like thing that I'm gonna do with painting. And so that's really exciting and fun for me. And you know, once I'm done with this, I might be like trying to find crochet patterns that I like. I don't freaking know. I just know that I like to make things, and that's all I've ever done. Okay? So for me, this year, transcending and pushing myself. And I think that's where the transcending comes from. Like, you can't transcend unless you go farther than you normally do, you know? So that's where I feel like I'm at a point in my career or my life. Everything I'm going to do, I need to go as far as I would normally go, and then consciously go, I'm going to go a little bit farther now. And so I hope this video like is inspiring or helpful to you. Let me know what you think down below. Like, do you have a word for this year that you're going to like go for and do the whole thing with? Like, let me know what's going on with you. Okay. I haven't picked what chapbooks are going to be available this month. But Coldest Beer in the Desert's gone now. Off the Grid and a Preview of a Dangerous Mind, those are going back into the vault. Okay. And you will see them at a much later date now. Okay. So I'll be showing you what books those are later this week. Okay. So tie hard, everybody. Oh, if you've ordered a painting from me, all of the shipping stuff is supposed to get here on the 7th. And I know, like, but like holiday shipping, the whole thing. So I apologize for that. But also, I got a bunch of forms and authenticity certificates and stuff like that. So I'm going to be sending all of that stuff out with the paintings as they ship. Okay. So that's just a little tidbit update if you were wondering about the paintings in the mail. That's what's going on. Hugs and kisses. Join the crew down below, and I will talk to you all later.